All right, a very good morning once again, and welcome to this segment of the program where we look at issues. And one of the issues that has been of concern to all Nigerians has been this NDC deregistration, and even Omoyele Sowore, who is the presidential candidate of the AAC, was his bail was revoked by Honorable Justice Umar. And some Nigerians have spoken about this issue, and one of the persons who have spoken about the issue is the national chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA. The DLA is a party that was registered on the same day as the NDC, that was February earlier this year. And he is with us live in Abuja studios, Barrister Samuel MEMEH, National Chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance. A very good morning to you, Chairman, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Right. So, I saw your statement on Sowore. He is not a member of your party, but your party released a statement, and I saw you speaking to the issues. Why are you concerned, and what's your position?
Well, very clear. We are practicing democracy in our country, and we feel it is necessary for us to protect all the instruments that make democracy function in a country. And for Omoyele Sowore has been very consistent from the time when he was in the university as a student leader. And we know, for me and for the party, all the troubles that the government have made him pass through over the years has always been, I've never seen Sowore being charged for stealing or for fraudulent activities. It has always been, oh, you said this against the government, you behave in this manner, because government always want to eat and not wanting anyone to distract them. And that is unfortunate. But now, Omoyele Sowore is a presidential candidate of a political party, so it therefore means that he's not someone that will run away from trial. And when you look at the trajectory on the surrounding circumstances behind his incarceration, it is because we believe that the court was used as an instrument, to send them back to prison. For someone who is enjoying his bail condition, and simply because he did not appear, which truthfully, he was in court on that same day, and the court revoked his bail and sent him back to prison. We need more Sowore in Nigeria today, in a country where people are being shut down, people are scared to speak. That you have very few persons that are ready to come to the streets, that are ready to speak for the people, and you find the courts being presented themselves as an instrument to be used by the executive arm of government, to destroy the opposition, to clamp down on dissenting voices. So for us as a political party that believes in leadership advocacy, we cannot allow that to stand. And we mean every word that we've written in our statement, and we believe that Sowore should enjoy Omoyele Sowore should enjoy his bail condition while the trial continues. If the president is someone who is focused, ordinarily, if someone call you a criminal, then prove that you're not a criminal.
But the burden of proof is on the accuser.
No, the burden of proof is on the prosecutor, not on the accused. So, what you see is that we have a system, a government who have failed in its primary responsibility to protect lives and property. Did you see the video when he was arrested? In a country where many communities, many local governments, in many states in the northern part of this country, in some states, more than 40% or 50% are ungovernable. And you have the DSS showing muzzles because you want to arrest an innocent young man who is speaking up against bad governance. And we can practically see the effect of bad governance in our country. So we believe that irrespective of political affiliation, the truth must be said. And that is what we have, spoken out, and we believe that come the next adjourned date, which is on Tuesday, we're going to rally on in support of him and other Nigerians that are lawfully being detained by this brutal government. So Nigeria must begin to rise up to say enough is enough. We cannot continue to tolerate this act of injustice. Those who need justice are neglected. Thousands and hundreds of people are being taken away from their homes. Ransoms are being paid in this country, left, right, center, up and down, and the government is not doing enough to protect the lives and properties of people. So what you do is to clamp down on people who are speaking up. The idea to speak to the what you can use to respond to those who are speaking up is to perform and to respond to their issues and not to arrest them. So we are not comfortable with the decision of the courts. We respect the sanity and the constitutional responsibility of the courts to administer justice, but at the same time we must not be silent in the means of oppression, as we have seen in the case of Sorry.
All right, so your party, I've spoken about that, but just yesterday too, we saw Federal High Court in Lokoja, Justice Ida, who revoked the asked that INEC shouldn't recognize the NDC, a party that was registered by INEC the same day your party was registered. Citing some issues that they should return to the status quo because a party or an association, the PMP, right, asked that the same logo that the peace sign used by the NDC was rejected by INEC as when they tried doing registration in 2015, but it was later accepted for the NDC, claiming that sign, the victory sign, is theirs. And I think on that locus, the judge said, all right, INEC, the register NDC, until this matter is fully resolved. How did that come to you?
Well, for me, because I represent a different political party, right, and the NDC was announced registered on the same day that our party, the DLA, was equally announced registered. I don't forget that according to INEC, 171 applications was received in this registration exercise, and out of the 171, there was a series of screening, checking out the logos, the acronyms, the names, the motto, and so many things, the constitution and other things that makes up qualify a political party to be registered. At the end of the day, on the 5th of February, INEC announced the DLA, the Democratic Leadership Alliance, as the only party that met the requirement of law and was registered. On that same day, INEC equally announced the NDC, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, registered in compliance with a court order. From the same court that now issued that INEC should not recognize the party to be registered as a political party. Well, I'm not so familiar with the judgment of the court that made INEC to recognize the NDC as a political party. I got to know the name of the NDC for the first time on the 5th of February, on the same day that our party was announced registered. But I want to speak a little bit about what I know about the party registration procedures. I remember before I led the registration process of my party, the Democratic Leadership Alliance, and what we know is that in terms of choosing logo, an association intending to be registered as a political party must choose the logo to be used for the political party, a logo that is not in existence or must have been used by political parties or must have been used by political associations intending to be registered as a political party. That is information that we got. So, at the end of the day, but for political associations, must choose their logo based on belief and based on the representation of the idea of the political party. Like in the case of the DLA, the pen, the golden pen simply means to write the history of our country. So that is the wisdom behind the choice of our logo. I will speak a little bit on the court judgment based on what I know. Having been registered by court order, such a party automatically have equal status with a political party that was properly registered in compliance with INEC regulations. Now, if certain persons or an association had gone back to that court, because I got to understand recently that the judgment was the default judgment. It therefore means that the NDC had approached the court, asking the court to declare or to compel INEC to register the political association to not be a political party. Many other parties that are interested were not present during the court proceedings, and they got what they call default judgment. Now, if some other interest groups or associations or even INEC choose to go back to that same court, they are still within the ambit of the law to ask the court to review the judgments or now present further facts or material facts to prove that such a judgment given in default ought not to be given. So if the courts find such evidence or such facts sufficient enough to quash the initial judgment or order given, it is still within the ambit of the law for the court to so do. So now, I think what is going on right now is because this is a political case, and considering the fact that the NDC as a political party had rapidly grown within a short period of time, definitely it is going to attract a lot of attention. There are so many circumstances where default judgments are reviewed by the same courts who equally ordered such a judgment, and nobody hear about it because it is within the function and the operation of law. So what you see today, and as a result of the judgment given yesterday, for me, I personally have not had the opportunity of seeing the certified true copy of the judgment. But in my opinion, being a default judgment, I believe that the court is still acting within the ambit of the law. After all, it was the same court who ordered the party to be registered, and the same court is saying, no, we have not had some more sufficient evidence, to look into before. So, for me, what is there is that what Nigerians are really asking is, a lot of people have invested their millions and billions of naira, their resources, their commitment into the party. They acted on all these things in response to the court judgment. And the same court now coming back again to say, no, the judgment we gave initially is not enough. We are now cancelling the judgment. For public opinion and for the public interest, that is what is drawing the attention of the entire country and the world at large. So I think the political party would find so many other legal remedies to adopt to probably get the party back, or whichever way they should be able to get it back.
All right, so maybe we could even look at INEC, because we've seen even when the ADC was asked to be deregistered by the matter that was brought to the court by former legislators on some grounds, and at the end of the day, INEC appealed for stay of execution, right? Because of the processes have already started, like you mentioned. Can there be maybe a fine if there are infractions allegedly, or the fines given because of the resources invested in the future of the nation? People are concerned about it. That could be said. But let's talk about your party now, right? How's it been? You with the NDC, you came on board at the same time. How's it been? How's the traction been? How's the response been? How have Nigerians responded to your party?
Well, before I respond to that, I would like to make a little bit of clarification to what happened in the case of a federal high court sitting here in Abuja that declared the ADC and four other political parties to be deregistered by INEC. Immediately that judgment came, many of us spoke against the judgment because we believe that that judgment cannot stand, because we understand the constitutional provision and the constitutional threshold for an existing political party to remain existence in view of the law. And when we saw the judgment, I said, no, this judgment cannot stand, because INEC in its own response affidavit stated clearly that these political parties have met with a constitutional threshold to remain as political party. For instance, you have the ADC, for instance, that one or two National Assembly elections in the last 2023 election. That alone is sufficient to make the party remain. Then you have the Zenith Labour Party that equally won some few elections at the local level. What the constitution says is that a political party, there are so many conditions, but one of the conditions is that for the political party to remain, such a political party must have won at least one election in the area council, a general election or so on. At least just one election into the World Council is enough to remain, to sustain the political party. So we know that that judgment is a miscarriage of justice. And that is the reason that INEC had to apply, approach the Court of Appeal. Because INEC knew that that judgment cannot stand. So it is a little bit different from the scenario of yesterday. All right. So unlike the scenario of yesterday, it was INEC who is even insisting that it is an issue with the logo. All right. So it makes it a little bit dynamic. INEC will definitely is a party that is interested in opposing such existence of the NDC. So having said that, for us as a party, a political party is quite an enormous responsibility, particularly in a country such as Nigeria. And of course, upon the registration of the DLA, we open up our channel of registration of membership, and we started getting membership. And we've gone through the stages of conducting our congresses. Then we now have our structures across the country. We conducted our primary elections, and we began so many activities around the party program. So it's been an interesting moment, at the same time very high demanding in time and in operation, to put, considering the fact that the time frame, the party was announced registered, and the guideline came just a week after, and so many activities, but we are coping. That is the most interesting aspect. But Nigerians need fresh breath. And the fact that they understand that this is the first political party that is rooted in ideology, like we have always mentioned, ideology in leadership, in mentorship, and in training young people and Nigerians at large, trying to create community within the community of Nigeria, and equipping ourselves and members of the party for the tasks ahead of us in leadership. Because we believe that we must set agenda and a system down for us to have industries in place. So we're not waiting for us to get into governance before we should begin to do what we have to do. We're already doing that even with the political association, down to the political party and beyond. So we're doing everything possible to carry our members along. Our primary elections was conducted in the best and the most transparent manner, and we have our representatives. When the campaign began, we'll begin to let Nigerians know what we have to offer to Nigerians. But we already have it in our manifesto. Then we'll begin the campaign. And I'm sure, I'm very convinced that Nigerians would give it to us to enable us to champion the affairs of this country.
All right, so many Nigerians are of the opinion, or we've heard the opposition say time and time again that the ruling party seem to be an interested party in some of the issues that we've noticed in political parties. In fact, we've heard, the NDC yesterday, the national chairman was speaking, and he said that it's an attempt to shrink the Nigerian political space. You are in that space. Is there any attempt to shrink that space? And if there is, where do you think the attempt is coming from?
Yeah, I strongly believe without doubt that the current cabinet, the current government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, without my saying words, is scared of the oppositions. But what I always advise political parties to do is to keep their house in order. You understand? So they must keep their house in order. But whether there is an intention, there is a deliberate intention by the ruling government of this country to ensure that there is no existence of opposition because of the president. And it is very shameful and very bad for the image of Nigerian democracy in this country. You have a system, you have a government that ought to, implement programs to benefit Nigeria. You are in government. You are controlling the state and the resources of the country. You have all it takes to do what you have to do. For people to love you, for people to follow you. But you choose not to do that. You choose to neglect the people. You abandon the insecurity. You left the people to their fate. The governors are enjoying, you took away the resource, the fuel subsidy, and you claim that you're giving the resources, the money, back to the state governors. In return, the state governors are now enjoying more resources. There is no public declaration by the president compelling the governors to do what they have to do. Because you are the commander-in-chief. You are the leader of the country. And you claim that you're giving governors money, that people should hold the governors accountable. How? Because all the necessary policies are to come from the federal. Since we have weak governors, we have governors that are insensitive, then if you know as a president that you have the interest of the people at heart, you are the one who removed the fuel subsidy, you are the one who caused the pains for Nigerians. So the president of Nigeria and his leadership and the APC had failed Nigerians, so that is the reason they have gone ahead to tackle the opposition political parties, to ensure that there is no existence of viable opposition political party. But that is their game. There is also the other side of the game on the part of the opposition political party to maintain some level of integrity and work hard. Because if you do not work hard, these guys are out to rubbish and to do whatever they want to do to remain in power. And when they remain in power, we lose. It says the people, they don't care about the number of people that are being killed in Zamfara. They don't care about the number of people that are being killed in Borno. They don't care about those that are being killed. And that is the reason that up to this moment, there is no policy in place to regulate the business of cattle in Nigeria. There is no policy in place to protect farmers, farming communities, and farmlands. And they are all here in their various state capitals, and here in the FCT, with high level of security guards protecting themselves. So the fear of not losing the election is what you are saying that is making them to push so hard to upturn judgments and do whatever they can do to ensure that there is no viable opposition political party in Nigeria. But that is going to fail again, because Nigerians are wiser. The same people who are doing all of this, and they are few in number, they don't have more knowledge than many of us too. So Nigerians will continue to work things around and get themselves ready ahead of time, because if you allow this current government to go beyond 2027, we are in trouble with all of this killing. Remember, recently you heard the president's spokesman saying that people are enjoying now more than it was before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board. That is to let you know the mindset. That's to let you know what they are thinking about. Just recently, the wife of the president equally said that it doesn't cost so much for you to get something to roast corn, cook Kulikuli, Farakara, and the rest of them. That is their mindset. We are in a world where countries are developing their people, equipping their people for technological development, for industry, for manufacturing, and you have a presidency that is willing and ready and passionately working so hard to impoverish Nigerians. How can somebody who is selling kulikuli be able to build a house? In a country where there is no housing system, proper housing system, no electricity, nothing, then you are telling young Nigerians with so much passion, energetic Nigerians to go into frying of selling kulikuli, frying akara, and selling roasted corn. That is their mindset. These guys have nothing to offer the country.
So I'd like to ask now, because some persons have talked about the fact that it seems opposition themselves have not really shown unity. Because we had the Ibadan convention, you were there at the convention, Ibadan meeting perhaps, and communique was read, one presidential candidate to be presented, but now almost all the parties have candidates that have been thrown up. So it seems that resolution has not been able to hold water. And some Nigerians have said that if the opposition cannot come together, right, that's like a walk in the park for the APC.
The opposition political parties provide a platform. Nigerians will decide. And I said it even right from the Ibadan summit. It is not proper to ask opposition political party not to nominate their presidential candidates. No. What is right is for them to nominate and finish their nomination process, which is part of their electoral guidelines. I do not want to say that the opposition are not united. The opposition were not brought from the moon. They were not brought from Ghana or from America or from Canada or from Nigeria. They are Nigerians. What is there is that Nigerians are not participating. Obviously, Nigerians are discouraged, and that is why many Nigerians are not participating in politics. And most times they will tell you, oh, they have rigged the elections, there is nothing we can do, just allow them to be, this man they have won, just leave it. And the more we paint that scenario, the more we give that impression, the more we are fueling and energizing them to commit more havoc, because these guys are ruthless. They don't have conscience, and that is why they see. If you know the level of deaths and killings that is going on in this country that is not, publicized in the media, you'll be marveled. And sometimes you can't even put it up because of policies. So, it is not true that the opposition political parties are not united. We are strongly, very, very united. You cannot tell the opposition political party not to fill in their candidates. It's after they have finished the processes of nominations. Then, during the campaigns, they can come together and unite among themselves and then confront the common enemies, the oppressors of the nation, those who have kept us back, those who have taken us back 20 years back. So, we are united. We are formidable, we hold our meetings, we are very strategic, and I'm very sure in no distant time, when we begin to roll out the candidates of the party, political parties will unite and roll around among themselves to see how we can get through this very unfortunate situation we find ourselves in the interest of the country.
All right, so are we going to be having a lot of shoulder to shoulder standing, like you've stood with the ADC, you've stood with AAC, with the NDC?
But definitely we're going to look at for those who can represent the party. In many states, we believe that the current crop of governors we have today have not shown sufficient leadership to remain. We look at it. We believe that there is a need for us to, but in the area of the presidency, that has failed woefully. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed woefully. And there is no basis.
Conclusion.
That is a conclusion. Is manifesting. Is obvious. that this current administration has failed, except they can do something very dramatic, to save the current situation that we find ourselves. So there will be a time after this whole exercise, the political parties can unite together and then probably support a singular candidate. It is still possible to come back to that same round table, to choose a common someone to support. It is still very, very possible. It might be the DLA, there might be other political platform.
So I have two questions for you from some of our viewers this morning before I let you go. Someone is asking that with the level of political problems that we've seen in very political parties, what is the DLA doing so that you do not also get involved in these issues?
We have done a lot, and that is the reason we are still standing very strong. And just immediately after our party was registered, we had some level of influx into our party. And of course, sometimes these persons come not with good intention, but with intention to come in and, find a space and find a way to destabilize the system. We've seen so many of them, but because of our constitution, that will not allow any person who just come into the party to hold position, but except you fulfill certain requirements, we're able to put such people under check. And in the course of checking them, we'll actually find out who they are. So we are doing that on a daily basis. What is very important as well, which many political parties had failed in so many ways, is adhering to your constitution and your own personal guidelines. There are so many complaints about aspirants who participated in party primaries in many political parties in Nigeria, just the last concluded party primaries. We so much complain about irregularities and what have you. Now, these challenges are there because political parties failed to comply with their own guidelines and with their constitution. For us, we have identified all of these things that one way for us to remain strong is for us to obey our constitution and our guidelines. Once you are able to stabilize on that foot, then you are good to go, and that is what we are doing as a party.
All right, so I'll ask you the last question. This person is saying that is the DLA looking at an alliance or a major future?
No. Major is not going to be part of it, except another political party is coming in to join the party. In terms of alliance is a welcome development at all time. We are ready to, create an alliance and understanding with other political groups, for us to work in the interest, especially areas where it is very difficult to defeat the oppressors. So you must work in alliance with other political structures and work out with the modalities to achieve your aims and objectives. That is very, very open, and we're very much open to that. But in terms of major, no, major is not in contemplation of what we believe. We're already strong. All we want right now is for Nigerians to join forces with us in the movement. So let us begin to actualize our goals and objectives.
So you are saying that on Tuesday you will be at the court to support Omoyele Sowore?
We are very strongly in support of Omoyele Sowore. We believe that Omoyele Sowore has not committed any crime known to law. No. In other countries, people abuse their presidents, and you are the leader. So how does Sowore calling the president a criminal, which instead he can prove? But I don't want to mention that. I don't want to say that the president is a criminal. But when you look at some of the things that is going on in the country, and you have a presiding officer of the country that still turn blind eyes to some of these things.
But these issues have been here for a long time, and it seems the country, the presidency is grappling with this. We've even heard people say insecurity cannot be defeated by a snap of the finger.
So how is that the business of Sowore? Sowore is not a member of the armed forces. Sowore is an activist and a politician. and someone who believes in good governance. You may not like his style, you may not like his approach, you may not even believe that he is going to be the president of Nigeria. That is the business of anyone. He is not my very good friend, but as someone I've seen him from afar, and I believe that he is fighting for a good cause. I've equally monitored what his antecedents. Look, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should appreciate those who are speaking from the outside his government. Because it looks like he's surrounded with people, the nay and the yes sayers, and those who are saying, oh, you are the best. Things are going wrong in this country. We need more people to speak up for Nigerians. We need more people to speak the truth. We need people to speak to power. And the judiciary should be very careful. Because if the judiciary begins to dance to the tune of these politicians by sending every activist and freedom fighters and those who are speaking for the interest of the people to prison, a time will come when they will turn against the judiciary. Nobody will speak for them. And we're getting towards that direction. Unfortunately, that is where we are going to. Somebody is speaking against the issue of insecurity and is calling on the president to come and respond as a judge, as a judicial officer. You are whatever, because look, you don't revoke bail by mere non-appearance of an accused person in just one sitting. No. You must consider certain conditions. If his bail is not revoked, is he likely to run away from justice? You and I know that Sowore is a public person. If you leave Sowore for 1 month or 2 months, he will definitely organize 1 or 2 protests. So you can get him if you think he's not appearing in court. So we sense that the decision taken by the court is not in the interest of justice. It is in the interest of silence his voice. Interestingly, the more you do so, the more you are raising attention to the injustice going on in the country.
Right.
So we will stand by every Nigerian who believes that this country should work, and for those Nigerians who are speaking up, we need them. We need Nigerians to speak up. Those Nigerians that are speaking up are very few, and you want to silence the few ones that are speaking. That cannot work.
Thank you so much, Barrister Samuel MEMEH, National Chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA, for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I wish you and your party all of the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's go for a short break, and when we return, the program continues. Please stay with us.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.